Okay, I think I'm live. Hi, Diet Disruptors. It's Carrie here, and I am so excited to talk to you about today's episode because, gosh, well, it's about a topic that I haven't been able to talk about much because of the whole COVID thing. And now I think it's a good time to talk about it. So, this whole month, our live episodes are talking about sustainability. And I love something that I can do that I don't have to think about for very long and I can do for the rest of my life. I mean, one of the things that I think is so important is that we ask ourselves with any nutritional approach, could we do it for the rest of our life? And if the answer is no, then why are you doing it? Because if you're doing something that's a quote unquote quick fix that you can't do forever, you're just playing this terrible game with your body. Your body is just like any other relationship. You have to build trust with your body, just like you would do with a spouse, a sibling, a loved one, a friend, your children. It's another relationship. And all good relationships are based on trust. So today we're going to talk about something so important in all of our lives around sustainability, and it's travel. Yes, travel. I know, my goodness. I used to travel all the time. I mean, I was literally on an airplane 2 weeks a month. And then COVID hit, and now I haven't traveled since March. In fact, I was supposed to go to Europe at the end of March to do some work, and that got canceled and never rescheduled. It's like everything is happening over Zoom. So I want to know from you. We are streaming live in a variety of places. I want to know from you what travel you missed out on during the pandemic. I missed out on this amazing trip to Europe that was part of work, of course, but it was still going to be amazing. And a lot of you know this, maybe a lot of you don't know this, but I lived in Singapore for 7 years. And I haven't been back for a long time since, gosh, I think it was maybe 2014, maybe 2015. I haven't been back for a really long time. And this year, 2020, my husband and I were married for 20 years. And so we got married in 2000. We joked that it was a easy to remember anniversary. And so for our 20th, we had saved up for the whole family to go to Singapore. And of course, that got canceled. So that was a bummer. I want to know what trips you were planning, and it could have been a car ride. We were also supposed to go to Michigan, which is something we do every year. We go see friends there on the amazing lake, and we had to cancel that as well. So unfortunately, there were so many things that we had to cancel. I want to know, what kinds of things did you have to cancel? Tell me, tell me, tell me. If you're listening to this on our podcast, you can't necessarily tell me, but I'd love to hear some comments about what you think of this episode. And in those comments, tell me what travel you missed out on too. Okay, so the thing is, the world is starting to open up a little bit. And now, while I'm not going on an airplane anytime soon, I am still doing a little bit more of travel. It's in a car and I'm getting away. So a few weeks ago, my family and I, we are in New England, in the US on the East Coast, and we managed to get to Maine, to Acadia National Park. It was amazing. And so travel like that is still travel. And what we're going to talk about today are really helpful travel tips to allow you to stay on this lifestyle of sustainability, this simple and satisfying way to live. That is not a diet, you guys. So the key, if you're new here, and I know we have a bunch of new people here, if you're new, we talk about proteins, fats, and carbs. We talk a lot about that, and we realize that a lot of us didn't know about food, and what we think is a protein might not be a protein. I encourage you to go back to previous episodes to hear more about exactly kind of what those proteins and fats and carbs are. For example, a lot of people think nuts are a protein, and they're not. They're a fat. So we have to get kind of in tune with that. But the reason why that's so important is because when we eat a protein, fat, and carb together in combination, we're actually balancing our blood sugar. And when we balance our blood sugar, our bodies love us, right? Balancing our blood sugar is actually what our bodies want. It's amazing how when we give our bodies what it wants by fueling itself with the right nutrients in the right portion at the right frequency, how it does for us what we always wanted diets to, but they never did. Balancing our blood sugar is the key to our approach, and eating clean, unprocessed foods as much as possible. But we know we can't always eat super clean, but we can eat more often than not what I call correct, which is eating in threes. So instead of just having an apple, we want to pair it with a protein and a fat so that we then have our protein, fat, and carb. There's a lot of science behind this, but basically the carbs give us the energy and it boosts our blood sugar, which is why people think carbs are bad, because sugar can actually store fat, can cause us to store fat, right? But when you balance it with a protein, that actually balances out our blood sugar, because the protein is like gives us the opposite effect, but also gives us energy and builds our lean muscle, which is what we need, especially when we're in our middle age, but everybody needs. And then that balances out the hormones and the blood sugar, and then the fat slows down our digestion, helps us absorb our nutrients, and allows our body, our intestines, and all the stuff inside of us to be cushioned exactly the way we need to. And so by slowing down our digestion with the fat, by boosting our energy with the carbs, and heightening our blood sugar by giving us that energy, and then by balancing it all out with proteins, it's an unbelievable combination. So when you're traveling, you could think, oh gosh, but this is kind of hard to be able to do this while I'm traveling. I've got some tips for you. So one of the things that I want you to think about is what your travel is for. So when I used to travel for work, I remember in the beginning of my life of a traveling consultant, I used to think it was so much fun, and I would kind of feel like I was on vacation, and so kind of go all out. But after a while, you realize you can't do that. So I treat when I travel for work like I'm traveling for work. And I try to get myself into the same routines that I do when I'm home. And so one of the things that's really important is that I have food options and I prepare. And so the reason why it's a little different when you're preparing for work than for a vacation is because on vacation, you might go a little bit more hog wild, right? A little bit more. Last week, we talked about dining out, more dining out and more appreciation meals. And the beautiful thing about our lifestyle is that the longer you're doing it, the faster your metabolism is, and you can go on vacation, not think so much about it, and your body doesn't skip a beat. You couldn't do that if you were on a diet, because you've deprived yourself for so long. The minute you kind of go off plan, your body's going to store that food and store fat. So because we're boosting our metabolism, that's not as much of an issue, which is so exciting. But what I do think is that even if I'm on vacation, I'm always just kind of choosing one or two meals that might be more of like my I'm not thinking about it meals, and I'm still eating small meals throughout the day. They might not be perfect, but I can always do a shake. And that's important, because if you're eating that many times a day, one of your meals being a shake, you're on point. And there's a few other meals that you can always do really easy. So when I travel, I bring kind of a variety of options with me. If I'm on an airplane, which I haven't been on in a while, I do it a little bit differently. When I'm driving in my car, it's really simple. I hard boil a bunch of eggs. I go to the deli counter and I get ham and turkey. My daughter likes buffalo chicken, so we get that. We have plenty of those kinds of proteins. I love smoked salmon, so I'll get that, and we'll put it all in a cooler, and so I'll have lots of options that way. But I also want to just share with you grab and go quick travel things. So we love our protein shakes, our Arbonne protein shakes, and one of the reasons why, there's many reasons why I love them. The quality of them is very, very, very high, and the taste is very good. And while this in and of itself isn't a perfect PFC balance, this is still, if this is, you kind of do the best you can, you can mix this with water and it still tastes really good. And it's a little low in your F and your C, but it's fine in your protein. And if you're going to do that, that's okay. Right? So I'll do that. And this is how I do it. I bring a water bottle with me. Any kind of water bottle will do. And I bring the little shaker to my shaker bottles. This is a 32-ounce water bottle. It's well used. And this is, I still get my water in. So I make sure I fill 2 of these a day, even when I'm traveling. And so this water bottle is super light. It's not one of those thermos ones that's heavy. So I can throw it into my backpack and travel with it really easily. But I can also throw my shake in here with water, shake it up, drink it up. I can also do the small almond milks. You can buy the small almond milks. They don't have to be refrigerated, and I can throw that in there. It makes my shake a little creamier, built my fat up a little bit more, which is good. Use this to shake it. Then I'll, like in the hotel, I'll rinse this out, and then I can use it for my water. And so I use my washcloths in my hotel room, and I kind of rinse it out a little bit more thoroughly with the washcloth. And so having a shake is a meal. And so this is so easy. I get a bunch of these and I travel with these. Now, and if I'm just doing this with water, I might add a little bit of a fat and a carb to it. So I might add some almonds and some like dried cranberries, something like that. So that's really good. I also love Aloha Bars. So Aloha Bars are a great meal replacement. And I am not an advocate for eating bars and shakes all day, but this is what I do. I go to the restaurant and I often, like for breakfast, for example, I might have them make me an egg white omelet if that's an option, or hard-boiled eggs. And I find it's easy to find fats and carbs when you're in a restaurant. So I'll do that for my first meal. Then my second meal might be when we're out and about. If I'm working, I might be in an office or doing something, and that's when I'll have my shake because it's super simple to bring with me. And then it'll be time for lunch. So we'll go out for lunch, and I'll often decide, you can watch my episode last week about eating out and figure out what I'm going to have for lunch. Easy meal taken care of. Then about 3 to 4 hours later, I'm hungry again, and maybe I'm working, maybe I'm out. Bam, I'll have a bar. I'll throw that in there, and that's another meal, and that covers me. And then by then it's dinner time, right? So then you can go out and have your dinner. And so in all reality, it's pretty simple. But I also want to show you a couple other options. I'm loving the no-cow protein bars now too. This is a great PFC, higher protein in this than in the Aloha Bar, and I love that for us. They're both plant-based proteins, complete proteins, and I really do like the taste of a lot of these. This is a new find for us. I'll put a link in here. The no cow. Another option is the Vermont turkey jerky. So I do not like jerky, but I do like the Vermont turkey jerky. So I buy a bunch of these on Amazon, and there's 8 grams of protein in here. So, and that's a complete protein. So I'll have a couple of those, and that's good to go for my protein and my fat. And then I'll add, either some dried berries or an apple. Easy grab and go while I'm traveling. So I don't want to, while I'm traveling, necessarily feel like I'm not eating like lunch with colleagues or having my vacation with great meals out, but I still need to have those gap fillers. So those small meals in the day that are quick. There's also those little made goods. I don't know if you've seen those or not before, but they're little snacks of granolas. I get them at Costco, and those are a decent fat and a carb. So if I add a protein, like, oh my goodness, like those Star-Kissed tuna creations. They're really good. You can eat them right out of the pack. They even have salmon ones, and those don't have to be refrigerated, and those are a really great protein option for you as well. I also always bring thin stackers with me. You can find those in the grocery store. Those are an awesome carb that you can eat really quickly, and it's like a little cracker. So lots of options that you can do. The big point is, if you're thinking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're going to eat those out, great. Get your gap fillers in between. And if they're protein shakes and protein bars, that's totally fine. Travel does not have to derail your goals. Just like in life, on a day-to-day basis, the more intentional we are, the better that we're going to be with our nutrition. And that's going to be the same for when we travel. So be intentional, be prepared, plan it out, but know that this can be really, really simple. And so one way that I want to share with you is a simple resource for you is our 101 PFC grab and go meal ideas. And I'm going to tell you how you can get it for free. So one of the things that I know is that a lot of people are always asking me about our 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch. And while I think that is the single best way to not only learn our approach, but to live it with a coach for 4 weeks to truly, truly, truly reset your body and feel amazing and learn the last nutritional advice you'll ever need. I know that some people have a hard time committing to 4 weeks. So we have a smaller, mini, self-guided online course all about how to fuel yourself with food, our PFC Every 3, and it is an amazing option for people. And just this week, we're going to give everybody the option of getting either the 101 PFC meal ideas for free, the grab and go meal ideas, which are great to take on travel, or the October recipe subscription from our recipe subscription for free. But if you're listening to this or watching this week, the week of the 19th, if you message me with the secret code, let's go, because we're talking about travel. So let's go. I'm going to give you both of those things for free. So you'll get the October recipes for free and the 101 PFC grab and go meals. And if you get our PFC Every 3 online course. And so I will put a link in the notes so you know how to get there, but it's disruptyournutrition.com/PFC course. And by dinner time tonight, you could know exactly how to live this lifestyle, exactly how to figure out your portions, to figure out your frequency, how to make it really simple. And with those 2 extra resources by your side, you are covered for every circumstance. So I'm really, really excited. So let me know, message me, let's go. And if you get the course, I will give you both of those things for free. So that is all I have for you today. Let me know where you're planning on going for your next trip. And tell me what you thought about this episode. Leave me a review if you're watching the podcast or if you're watching live or on the replay. Just leave some comments and I'd love to hear your feedback. That's it, you guys. Thanks.